Welcome to the Bearded Bro Show podcast. This is the fucking intro every time. I'm Dustin and I'm with Trav.
I should put a bleep there. That'd be pretty funny.
It would be, but
Like
just don't bleep
beeping.
out anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, just just like this is the beeping intro. What's up, guys? How you doing? Just as a reminder, you can email us at bbroshow@gmail.com. Hey, I didn't put the this time. I'm getting used to it.
Nice.
And that will always be in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And speaking of watching on YouTube, there's also other platforms you can listen on, which is Spotify. And I noticed that we've been dropped on Apple Podcast and something else today that I didn't even check what it was. I just got the email.
Are we on iTunes?
We might be on iTunes. All I know is last night I checked the podcast. It's just literally podcast app on my iPhone, and there we are. I searched just and it was funny though because I typed in Bearded Bro Show, didn't come up, added podcast, and then it was there. So guys, if you want to find us, make sure to, if you're not using a link and you're just searching, add podcast at the end of the title, and you should find us pretty much anywhere now. Like Anchor distributes all of that, which you've heard in the ad before this. But yeah, guys, we're just chilling with D-Man today, as always, and which is funny because I'm a subscriber to a YouTuber called D-Man 1954. So every time I say that, I just think of actual D-Man from YouTube. He's a Godzilla channel and talks to all Godzilla stuff. So that's kind of funny, and I don't know why I do that. But anyway,
Gotta love it.
is there anything that you want to address, maybe before I get into my big story that literally happened today? We already had, a subject in mind today, and then, this thing happened, and I was like, no, that's got to be today's episode.
Yeah.
That
tends to happen frequently. So, yeah, I just want to plug my fiance's YouTube channel because she is doing Sims content, and I think she's really good at the game. She calls herself average. But she actually has a series where she's taking houses that are already pre-built by EA and then remodeling them. And it's awesome. And she is absolutely killing it, and I love it. And we actually just uploaded her first remodel series. It's a speed build, and it's up on her channel now. So Trav will link that down in the description below because that's what Trav does. Yes.
Just got to remind me.
I will, in fact, remind him. And yeah,
just remind me on Thursday night.
I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order as Trav and I do this podcast because I am disgustingly obsessed with this game.
I don't know why I don't. Now that you say that again, he told me this before we started recording. But why didn't I ask before we started recording? Hey, why don't you record that while you're recording this? And maybe I can import what you're doing on Jedi Fallen Order into this episode. Super meta. But whatever.
Yeah, it's already a little too late for that one.
But anyway, guys, I hope you all are doing well. Be sure to tune in on all the listening platforms, like I said. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can always comment. We got one comment so far, and it was from Rancher.
Yes.
And I thought it was pretty great because he was recommending a game
called The Grass Simulator.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure you've played, and I've seen footage of you playing it. If it's that one that I'm thinking of, that
I don't think I've ever played Grass Simulator. I think.
Okay, I thought it was the one. I thought it was the one off the top of my head where you're
I played Goat
a
Simulator.
ragdoll thing walking around and or whatever, and you have to crawl over stuff and throw things. You're all I don't know, lifeless and walking around. I don't know what game that is.
I've definitely played Goat Simulator, but I'm pretty sure Grass Simulator is you just watch grass grow. Incredible.
Wow. Well, basically, just to dive into the story, I wish I would have wrote some of this down to kind of to do it in order, but I'm just gonna do it literally out of memory. So, I got off work early today. This is the stuff that's boring to talk about, but I had a really short shift, literally 3 hours. We've had this thing at work the last couple weeks where no matter what your schedule is that they make you have to do that, and they won't let it. We usually can go over our scheduled shift just because more money and sometimes a big boss might even ask you, hey, can you stay till 10 this time, whatever.
Right.
And no, so I was 1 to 4 today. I was that was the shortest shift as long as I've been working there.
That is the most pointless shift I've ever heard of.
I know, right? I literally told, Ben, my boss, the day before was and this mother effer over here working 1 to 4 tomorrow, and I have no idea why. Like, and I'm like, I don't know either, man. He was like, it's just a waste of his time, and I'm like, I know, right? I could be sleeping. I literally would sleep probably until 4. So like, chill out. Like, why do they schedule me like that?
Quick question, don't mean to interrupt your story here, but after Kashyyyk, do you actually go back to Zepho?
You pretty much keep returning to all the planets.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
If I remember what Zepro or Zepho, whatever, if I remember what it is,
that's where we found the big ass tomb. That's where we found the big ass tomb.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to research that. But anyway, basically, so got off early, and let me know in the comments, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, if this kind of thing has ever happened to you, and I want Dustin's like opinion on because last time we talked about strangers asking for help and stuff, and it was kind of this is like more of a, well, each one is kind of dangerous, but this was like more of a life-threatening thing, but
to you or to another individual?
What do you mean?
Like life-threatening for you? Like your life was threatened?
No, life-threatening for somebody else.
Okay.
I'll just clear it up right away. I'm stalling way too much. But I got off work early, decided to go ahead and get gas since I was getting close to E, and the gas station's really, really close to my place, and I stopped there, and it's so, you know what? And now I can't, like, it's so funny that I said something about D-Man earlier now, because his new video dropped, and it was something really, really intriguing that, there's been some spoilers that have dropped about Godzilla vs. Kong coming out in November, some leaked spoilers, and, like, I was really interested in his title, like, talking about it, because he's been addressing it, because that's literally his job, and I literally saw that, and sometimes I do this thing where, like, I think everyone's done this. I think everyone's done, especially the one where before you go into your house, you sit in the car and just whatever. Like, you watch a video, or, like, you just don't want to go in for some reason. Not, like, in a way of, like, oh, negative, like, don't want to go inside my house. Like, you just find yourself, like, not going in yet. And so I was at the gas pump, and, like, I just hadn't gone in to pay yet. I was just kind of taking my time. I got off early, so I was like, well, I have this whole day. So I took my time, and if I would have went in to the gas station before, like, watching that video, I wouldn't have witnessed it. I wouldn't have been the first witness, but I was the first witness. Basically, a pump to the right of me, there was this woman that walked out. I didn't see if she just, like, had just got out of her car or anything. I only saw, like, her walking in front of her car, and I mean, this chick just dropped. Like, she full on fainted right in front of my eyes, and like I kid you, Dustin, like, and this is the first time Dustin's hearing this. I texted him, I said, like, we're gonna record a podcast, and like, I'm not telling you. I told Lucas all about this because I knew, like, he might not listen or whatever, but with Dustin, I was like, I wanted all this to be live for him. So, like, I kid you not, she, like, did the most cliche, like, arm on forehead faint. Like, I didn't think that was an actual thing. I thought that's just something people made up, but apparently people actually put their hand on their forehead
and faint
and fall over kind of slowly. She literally did the cliche film acting on stage, or like a teenagers having to do a play type of acting, where she just, like, but she wasn't acting. She literally, she was legitly, like, passing out, or we don't really know, and by the end of it, even the medics, they really didn't know. So, but anyway, so I see her fall, and my first thought, and this is just like the strangers asking for help thing, where it's like you're not really thinking clearly, but my first thought was like, okay, get up. Like, in my head, you know, like, I was watching her from my car, and because I was just thinking, like, if this chick just fell, then maybe she'll just get back up. People fall all the time, and you just see them jump right back up. So she, like, fell, like, sideways, and I'm just like, well, yeah, like, let's see if she gets back up. And I waited, like, 5 seconds, and she was not even trying to get up. She was full-blown, like, I noticed she was, like, staying on the ground really still, as if just, like, asleep. So I was like, all right, boom, unbuckle, get out of my car, and like go check on her. And like there was a guy pumping, like in front of me, and I don't know why I really did this. It's really like it wasn't his problem, but I just immediately was like, hey man, this chick just fell over here. Like, I just told him about it. We checked on her. Like, ma'am, like, are you awake? Like, are you okay? She was like, and he described it to me after me and him kind of talked briefly after it was, like, after the medics and everybody, everybody was there. Like, he had said, like, and I didn't really notice this, but he was like, yeah, I was scared to, like, touch, like, her, move her at all because she was kind of twitching. And I don't know if I would say, like, twitching. It was just kind of like, I don't know. Like, she was clearly breathing. She was definitely, like doing it in and out, like, like, just, like, I don't know. Something definitely was off.
Right.
And especially just what really concerned me was, like, this girl is staying on the ground. Like, she's not even trying to get up. And just for anybody out there, if you ever seen anybody do this, and me or this other guy, like, I almost thought, because she had, like, her hand over her forehead, and over kind of her eyes, and I just almost thought, like, remove her hand to, like, look at her eyes, but, like, I didn't even do that. Something in me just said, don't touch her. I just call 911. He was about to, and then he was like, oh man, like, I'm out of service. He forgot, like, oh, I'm out of service or whatever, and so I call 911. And of course they asked me a bunch of questions that was literally like, like, as if I knew her, and I didn't. And I'm like, no, like, I just told her. They kept me on, like, the police kept me on the line, did the whole, kept me on the line to direct me to the ambulance side, and, like, it was such a weird experience, like, being, like, on a 3-way call with, like, the police and ambulance. Like, I almost thought to, like, hang up, and they eventually just like, sir, are you still there? And they needed more information. I'm like, okay, like, to me, it's like, I just wanted them to show up. Like, I should have expected more questions, but I didn't, I guess. But like, and it's funny because at this Come and Go gas station, there's a firehouse. There's a firehouse right beside it across the street. And I mean, while I was on the phone with them, the fire truck was right there with, like, I get, obviously, well, yeah, firemen have medics. What am I thinking? Like, I was about to say, like, I guess that's who they were, because they definitely weren't just, like, normal firefighters. Like, probably, I don't know if any of you are in, like, do that, or, like, a firefighter, like, you can let me know, like, what the different branches, like, teams, like, is there, like, firefighters that are medics and that at the same time, or is it just, like, I'm curious. But anyway, like, they surrounded her, blah blah blah, like, I don't know, like, and I immediately told myself in my head, like, I don't even know her, I don't know her name, I still don't know her name, so, like, I don't even have the chance to, like, be like, oh, this is going on the podcast. But that really was a thought in the back of my head. It's like, I've got to talk about this, because Ashley's a nurse, my wife's a nurse, and she gets scared about people dying and stuff. Like, people die on her all the time, and it's really sad, and I can't even imagine that level of it. But, like, I was generally concerned for this woman, and, like, and I thought to myself, like, man, like, as much as I don't wish this happened to this woman, I wish that it didn't happen to her. But, like, there's something about it that I was like, this is exciting. Like, this is a freaking thrill, man. Like, I was the first one, and I'm not trying to, like, put myself on a pedestal or whatever. Lucas says, like, dude, you probably saved her life. Like, you, like, were the first one. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going that far with it, but what was one of the most interesting things about this whole thing is, while we were checking on her, I didn't even notice until a little bit into trying to check on her the first few, like, seconds. I look into her car, and I do, like, a double take, because there's a kid around 9 years old or so playing on his phone or a game or something. I didn't really see if it looked like maybe it could have been a Nintendo Switch or something, or just a really big phone. Like, he was doing that and had no idea.
Isn't
Like,
that crazy?
and not to, not to put the kid down or nothing like that. Like, it's not his fault, but like, and also, I don't know. I also got the feeling about the whole situation. Something. It's like it's kind of just instincts. Like I almost feel like I'm not saying it's the kid's fault, but maybe I don't know. Maybe they were like arguing or something. I just got this vibe that maybe there was more to. There's definitely more to the story, because like, basically like, we stood in the circle for a little while, and because I didn't know if I should leave. Like, I was still needing to get gas anywhere going and even pay, and I was about to do that. And even the guy that I'd got his attention, he said, like, I don't know if I should go or not. Like, I don't know if they're going to ask more questions. I'm like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And then, like, one of the medics is, like, kind of stood up and was, like, said something. I don't know what it was, but basically, the idea, I guess, was, like, who saw this. Like, I don't think that's what he actually asked, but no matter, either way, the guy that I talked to the first time, like, pointed at me. So then I got the idea, like, oh, he's wanted to know, like, what I saw or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, I was the first one to see it. And he asked, like, did she, like, hit her head really hard? Like, did you see? I was like, dude, like, it was a really slow faint. Like, she legitly fell, but it wasn't, I don't know. It's kind of like when you fall sideways and you almost kind of roll your body with it. You don't really hit hard. You just kind of like, I don't know. It was, quote unquote, a pathetic fall, I guess.
Right.
But, she fell and all that, and it was just really interesting, and like nothing like that ever happens to me, for one, and that's what really was just like, oh my god, like I gotta talk about this. I mean, it's also just a way to let it out, and I told Ashley all about it, and like she's a nurse, so it's kind of like, well, that's like every day for me. But
yeah, if you're gonna ask anybody about it too.
but she's not like a what do you call it, like first responder or anything, and I think sometimes she wishes she was, just because it's really a thrill, man. Like, just something happening to somebody, like, everyone knows that thrill. You see ambulance, cops, or surrounding something, you're obviously curious, you're like, man, something happened. It's like, it's not cool, but you're like, it's exciting, generally exciting, even though it can be negative.
Right, understandable.
But yeah, so, but one of the medic that asked me questions about hitting her head and everything, I went ahead and got gas. I thought maybe, like, oh, somebody further, like, cops or whatever, going to show up and, like, ask me questions. But, like, he was like, nah, y'all can go. So I paid, and while I was pumping gas, like, the ambulance, they were like, by the time I came out, they were closing the doors. Like, right when I got to my car, they had shut the doors, putting her in the ambulance. And he turned around and he saw me. We made eye contact, and he's like, thank you, man. I'm like, no problem, but, like, do you think she's gonna be okay? Like, I was just generally curious. And he was like, and he just shrugged. He was like, we don't really know what was going on. Like, basically, there's more to the story. Like, I don't know. In my head, I'm like, maybe too many pills, maybe, like, drugs in general.
Yeah.
Or just, like, really, like, overly stressed and you faint. Maybe maybe her and the kid were, like, not getting along. And, like, I've had that situations with my mom where, like, my mom basically is almost, like, passed out just because, like, she's at a screaming fit arguing with me, and then it, like, just kind of, she gets lightheaded or whatever. I don't know. And I've felt like I'm just gonna black out maybe once or twice in my life. And Dustin, when he was drunk in what episode was that? Freaking episode 2.
Episode 2.
Check that out if you haven't yet. Dustin goes all into, like, his worst alcohol experiences and why he basically quit. So, a little plug into our own show. Isn't that meta? But yeah, I was just wondering, Dustin, like, what, anything like that ever happen? Like, that's just, like, you've rushed to the occasion, or, like, maybe even you've had to, like, technically save someone's life, or, like, in that way, like, maybe something more intense than my story. Just, yeah. Let's indulge.
I have never had anything like that happen to me personally. But, like, no, man, I know your fear, because, like look at, like, the, the drug epidemic that's happening now. you know, you never know what could be going on. Like, she could have overdosed on pills. It could have been anything.
Right.
Yeah, that's terrifying too, especially when there's children involved too. And you just got to think, like, what the hell? But I can share a story from a coworker who, he lives out in the middle of nowhere. Like, middle of nowhere, fucking Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It's a shithole. It sucks. There's a lot of crime there. So, but yeah, so he was like, he said he was just sitting out on his porch one day, and he saw this car drive down his road, and they stopped, and he like just kind of like sat there and watched them, and he didn't know what was going on. He's like, nobody ever drives down his road, so it was obviously pretty sketchy to him then. So he ended up going over eventually after a few minutes and like checking on this car because they were just stopped in the middle of the damn road. And he looked inside, and there was two dudes in the front seat completely just like passed out, and they had a drug overdose. And he looked in the back, and there was like a 4-year-old kid like in the car seat, no idea what the hell's going on. So he managed to like get the one dude awake and was like, "Hey man, you good?" And the guy was like, yeah, I'm just really high, I'm just taking a nap, whatever." So he was like, "I don't know, like something didn't seem right." So he ended up calling the cops. The cops came, and they actually had to revive both people with the Narcan in front of him. But
Wow.
like just imagine living in the middle of nowhere and you see that happen. I'm so sorry if you hear a bunch of button clicks in the background. I just got my ass kicked by a purge trooper. But I mean, yeah, that stuff's scary. I've seen people have seizures,
Yeah.
which
I'm kind of surprised, honestly, because like you definitely have been through more, I think, and like I really, like, I guess I just literally thought like, man, Dustin's gonna have something where it's like he had to pull someone out of a wreck or like like something, but I guess but I mean, it just depends, like, because just here down where I live, it's just like, I mean, stuff happens, but it always feels like it doesn't happen around me, which, I mean, obviously
right.
can be a good thing. I really hope I never, I'm not even gonna say what I was about to say, like witness certain things, just so, I don't jinx it, but, I guess, yeah, there is that fear, like, you don't want stuff to happen and to people, and it's just like, I was just literally sitting in my car, I hadn't gone in yet. If I would have, someone would eventually turn their head and noticed her, but I literally witnessed the fall itself,
yeah,
from her standing all the way up to not. So that was really bizarre. It's always something like I look and someone's already down or whatever, but that was literally like I was looking at, and Lucas Starr, everybody, subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's a vlogger. I'll go ahead and link him in the description as well. A lot of links to remember, but a great guy, and he basically said like, dude, right place, right time. He went so deep with it. He's like, you're basically her guardian angel and all this. It's like, But I understand
really
what he
not
means,
wrong,
like,
yeah.
just right place, right time. And, like, the saddest part about it, because, like, I was telling 911 my phone number, and I got a new phone recently, guys, and I literally think I told them the wrong number, so, like, I'm in the dark if they tried to, like, I don't think they would really go out of their way to update me on anything, because I don't know her, but, like, let's just say if something were to happen to her, like, I don't know, like, I kind of want to know, like, I know it's none of my business, but it's literally just that general, like,
Yeah.
hopefully she'll be okay. Like, I didn't even know how old she was. They asked me on the call, and, like, I'm like, and I paused for a long time, like, because she looked like a mom, like, she wasn't young, but she wasn't really old lady either, so I was like, 30s or 40s, and
Right.
she probably is, like, way older than I think, but that's, I guess, a good thing, but, yeah, like, late 30s, maybe early 40s, I don't know, she was just, like, and she was awake, and she was like, not really responsive, like, there was a point where I could swear she was just, like, saying stuff, like, mumbling something, so it's like, Man, like I don't know what that is at all. Ashley could probably have more guesses, but
I mean, she could have had a heat stroke too. I mean, it really could be really anything.
true.
Like, you never know.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, like overheated or whatever, but then I was like, well, I mean, it was like it was rainy today and a little chilly, and like, I don't know, like, it was raining slightly, and she happened to fall under the gas station, the overhead, and whatever you call that, and the roof of the pumps.
Right.
So it's like, but it's just interesting, like, I got off work, went to the gas station, happened to get off early, and, like, just see all that, and just, like, but yeah, guys, YouTube comments. If you are listening on Spotify and you don't or Anchor or iTunes or anything in the future, like if you don't mind searching us on YouTube, leave us a comment on stuff like that that's happened to you, or even just email us at bbroshow@gmail.com. I'm gonna plug that so many times just so we can eventually get one email. But but like, it's just interesting. Life can be interesting sometimes like that, giving you all of a sudden these just random things. And there's, like I said, not to be like, oh, like you're happy something happened to somebody, but it's like, there's a fun there.
Right.
I don't know.
There was
There's
something
a
really
thrill to
interesting
it.
that happened to me. I mean, I'm glad that I was not involved in what happened, but my friend Willard, Willard Travis.
Hoboglobin.
Yes, he lived in Newcastle also, but he was in like a more not okay part. And right behind his house, like you literally walked like through his backyard over a fence and you were in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven. And this happened on 4th of July. I don't remember where Willard was, but I was at his house. And I remember I was sitting on his back porch and I saw these guys, because you could, obviously, like a chain link fence, you could see like right into the 7-Eleven basically. There was a kid in a car arguing with this other dude, and it started to get really heated. So I turned around and walked inside. And probably not even 2 minutes after I like closed his door, the kid in the car was being robbed, and he actually shot the guy in the face and killed him.
Wait, the kid?
Like, well, he was. I mean, God, dude, they were teenagers.
Well, okay, so the teenagers shot the robber.
The
Or
kid
the
in the
other-
car was being robbed.
Okay.
So he shot the guy that was trying to rob him in the face.
Wow. Way to go. Like,
Yes.
suck on that, Robert.
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy.
And it was
that dude
literally
died, huh?
oh yeah, he died instantly. And I mean, it was literally all over like drugs too. Like the guy thought he was getting ripped off on drugs. It was like it was a drug deal gone wrong. But
So
literally,
you basically like just heard like a sound, like
oh yeah, if
gunshot.
literally, dude, if I would have sat outside, I would have watched the whole thing.
it's like just like someone's getting robbed and you're like, should I help?
Well, I mean, if
Like, no, well, I'm about to make a joke, like, pulls out camera. Like, it's
Right.
like, let me record this.
the thing is like being in Newcastle, man. Like you never know. Like that kid could have been like, oh, you saw something. You know what I mean? And like, you never know. And that's the
know,
thing.
right?
It's absolutely like it's terrifying, man. It is really scary.
I remember, like, my buddy Phil, he basically met this girl, Anna, well, like, through, man, it's like lightning and thundering outside. I hope that this doesn't cut my power all of a sudden while I'm recording this. That would just be the worst. Well, I think I'd still be able to be on the call with Dustin, but then my it would remain. I just wouldn't be able to charge it and then eventually go dead. Anyway, moving on, but my buddy Phil met Anna basically through me. And it's just so weird how that happened. Like, that's a whole other story, maybe for a whole other podcast, or maybe I could have Phil on. And I mean, I don't know if he would really be into it, but telling his story about him and Anna it's like really, there's a lot of steps to it. But him and Anna, like, she lived in California. They had a long distance relationship, and and like he basically, to be happier and stuff, he moved to California.
Epic Phil?
Huh?
You talking about Epic Phil?
Yeah, Epic Phil.
I liked him on your food reviews.
Oh yeah, I told him a while back, like, we gotta, like, do a food review again after, like, however many, like, a couple years or 2 or 3 years of him not being on, and he really enjoys it, and he's this huge supporter of the channel. He literally, like, has gone up and beyond to, like, he, like, sends me pictures of, like, here's something at a grocery store, and it's, like, a brand new thing I've never heard of. Like, oh, interesting, and occasionally I will review the thing, but yeah, he always tries to hit me up with, like, here's an item. He's just one of those people, like, he actually cares, and he actually, like, tries to put in the effort as, like, a friend, like, hey, like, I'm trying to help your channel here, but not in, like, I'm trying to help your channel. It's just literally, like, he'll just send stuff. But anyway. But yeah, he moved to California with Anna, and the air and everything was so, like, he just couldn't do it. And no offense to anybody living in Southern California, like, if you are adjusted to that and you've lived there, cool, like, it's your thing. But like, he was so used to this southern air and like trees and like stuff like that he like basically he was basically dying, like, in a way. Like, his lungs were all messed up because of it. And like, he told some story to me about, like, hearing about certain things. I won't really name all these things, but, like, certain things happening down the street in people's yards, like, and like, Anna's little sisters and stuff. Like, Phil just one day was like, because he was always really open with, like, Anna and his little sisters, like, just being honest with them, like, did y'all know that this and this, fill in the blank, happened, like, 2 houses down from this house? And they were totally oblivious to it, and Phil was just super aware of all this, and Anna was, like, I guess, I don't know, like, she was just, like, and this is just an assumption, like, she was just used to the area. But it got to the point where Phil was noticing it so much that Anna started to get more nervous about things. And there was, like, this one time, this is a totally just, I don't know I cannot fill in the blanks for y'all. Like, I don't know the whole story. I just remember Phil told me this story. So I don't know if I'll have this accurate at all. But basically, like, there was this cop, like, talking, like, I don't know, like, I guess this stranger approached them asking for something, maybe money or whatever, and then after Phil and Anna, like, got through talking to him, like, this cop was walking by or something, and, like, I was like, this stranger had just talked to Phil and Anna. They walk away, and this cop, like, walks up to the guy, like, hey, like, you look familiar, blah, blah, blah. And, like, apparently, long story short, that man that tried to talk to them was, like, a criminal and wanted, and, like, all this stuff. And, like, and Phil said that dude, after barely talking to the cop for, like, a few seconds, just started to, he just bolted within, like, a second. He took off running. Like, he was not having it. I think Phil may have heard that they caught him or something, but I don't really know. But, like, and then just something about, like, some guy walking into a restaurant and just, like, shooting, I don't know, he shot his family in the faces or something like that. Like, just stuff like that happened around there. And, like, not to, you know, I'm not trying to put down Cali or anything. And, like, I've always wanted to go there. Like, I definitely want to visit, like, you know, San Fran and, like, freaking, and Los Angeles, obviously.
Right.
And just the beaches and stuff, like, that would be cool. But
I fucking hate the second sister.
Well, you got to the part where, wait a second.
I went back to Zepho.
Like...
I'm going to investigate a crash site. She's, like, just in this room. It's just her and I.
Oh, okay.
It's like the first time you see her again. Yeah, she's a bitch.
Like, basically, BD1 stops it.
I can't beat her.
No, I know, but, like, you had to saber fight her.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I remember what you're talking about, and she takes her helmet off. Anyway, spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order, but, like, But yeah, just stuff like that. Like I've heard stories, but nothing really ever happens around me. And like I said, guys, YouTube comments, let us know some weird stories. Would love to read them. Would love to actually, if you want them to be public. If you don't, it's cool. You can tell us a disclaimer before you even put the paragraph, like, hey, don't talk about this. I don't know, like whatever. But
I don't know if
let
Tristan
us know some
remembers
cool
this.
stories, guys.
I don't know if Tristan remembers this, but we were young, and we used to go to Florida all the time together because my grandparents used to live down there. And God, fuck this bitch, man. She's kicking my ass. But anyways, my grandparents lived in this apartment complex, and we're down there, you know, visiting, you know, whatever, vacation. And Tristan and I always would just like take time during the day and just like, you know, like go on a walk. You know, like it's cool. We're walking around the apartment complex, and right across the street from this apartment complex where my grandparents lived was like slum apartments, like ghetto. And then right across the street from the slum apartments was a police department. So there was cops all the time over there. Like, I mean, you could literally sit out front and watch. It was like literally an episode of Cops live. It was crazy. So Tristan and I were walking, and this guy walks past us and was like, oh, hey, what's up? And we're like, oh, hey, you know, whatever. And we just kept walking. We didn't think anything of it. And a few minutes later, cops come by, and they're like, you know, like, hey, have you seen a man? And they describe this guy. And I looked at Trista, and I was like, that's the guy that literally just, like, we just walked past him. And it was so weird. Like, I don't know what this guy was wanted for or what, but the cops were looking for him, and he was running away. Like, he was over there, and we walked right past him. He said, what's up to us? And we said, what's up to him? And, you know, we just, like, kind of went on our way. But it was so weird that, like, they asked, and it was super weird, dude.
It's like you see, hey, what's up? What's up? And then, like, you walk, so, like, a block away or something, cops pull up, hey, have you seen this man? It's like, yeah, he's over there. And then you look, and I just imagine, like, a movie, like, style of, like, it cuts to him just looking back and being like, oh, and he just runs.
Well, we didn't even see that. Like, I mean, it was, like, a few minutes after, so, I mean, he honestly could have gotten anywhere, you know? Like, he could have had a friend that lived in the apartments, whatever, but...
Wait, so he was he running when you first saw him?
No, but he was, like, out of breath.
Oh, okay. So he was trying...
Like, he was, like, blending in.
He was running from them the whole time.
Right, so, like, as far as, you know, we knew, like, you know, he was somebody that was just lived in there and was just going for a walk, you know? There was another experience I had, too, and I talked about this on my YouTube channel. When I had moved to Florida and I was living down there in the one apartment complex, the guy that lived above me actually was a security guard for an apartment complex in Orlando, and he actually murdered a girl. And I mean, you can look this up. But it was so weird.
Dang.
So it was so funny because, like, there was 3 people that lived in this apartment. There was the guy who did the murdering, some weird creepy dude who carried like an old school briefcase around, had a mullet, a mustache. Dude was weird. And then the murderer's wife, girlfriend, I think it was his wife. Yes, it was his wife. So I would always joke with my friends because I would always see the guy with the briefcase, and I would always joke around and be like, man, he literally looks like somebody that would, like, he would kill somebody someday. And I always thought he was really weird, never spoke to him. But the guy that actually did the murdering was really nice. He had a dog named Nala, and she'd be outside, and, like, we would talk. And I've talked to this dude. I've had legitimate, like, long conversations with this guy. And I remember one night I was sitting in the car, and I was waiting for my friend to go inside with the girl I was with at the time and go get his wallet and get her wallet, or she was going to get my wallet or whatever, because we were going to go to McDonald's for food. So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see these cops walk from the driver's side of the car in front of me. And I, like, glanced up, and I glanced back down, and I did, like, a double take because I was like, holy shit, like, it looks like they're holding guns. And they were. Next thing I know, more cop cars pull up, and then a SWAT van. Dudes jump out, riot shields, assault rifles. They're posted up at the bottom of the steps. They, like, go up there, they kick down this dude's door, they pull him out, and I'm sitting in the car as all this is happening. I'm freaking out. But before that, one of the cops walked up, and he was like, you know, do you live here? What's going on? Do you know the people above you? I was like, I have no idea. Like, they're just really weird. And I was like, I live in the apartment down below them. And he's like, okay, well, he's like, I need you to stay in the car and duck down because we have word that this guy has a weapon. And I'm like, oh shit.
Jeez.
So yeah, they like ended up arresting this dude, and I actually got escorted from the car into my apartment, like by the police and like the SWAT team. It was insane. But yeah, this guy like legitimately murdered this chick in her apartment.
God.
Yeah, and it was so weird because like I've talked to him. You know what I mean? Like he was really nice.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was the weird guy that like he looked like he would be the one to kill somebody, but he was actually the most normal one out of the group.
See, this is why I have a podcast with Dustin.
It was
I'm telling you
It was strange.
that he has stories that I don't.
my,
I've never seen anything like that.
my fiance is actually back in the room. Trista, do you remember when we were younger and we were down in Florida at my grandparents' apartment and we were outside walking around and that guy walked past us. He was like really out of breath and he like said, "Hey, what's up?" or whatever, and we said, "Hey." And then the cops came and asked us if we like seen the guy and it was like fitting his description. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Are you lying?
No.
She doesn't remember. I remember shit like that. But I also
So I'd
have a
say if she
terrible
remembers,
memory,
she
okay,
could totally
forgive me.
like
Trista does
say
have a
what
bad
her
memory.
perspective into the mic.
Yeah, Trista does have a really bad memory.
So do I, but for certain things. Like long term, I remember, but like if something about yesterday, nah, forget about it. It's already gone.
I'm gonna be honest. I remember the dumbest shit in the entire world. I remember shit that has like that nobody cares about.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how my brain remembers the stuff that isn't important. Like that's where the line's drawn.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
pretty
weird too,
interesting, but-
because Tristan and I will have conversations, and I remember the littlest details about memories that we've had. Like it's weird. Like there's been times where I could think back to when we were 15 or 16 years old, and I could remember what she was wearing when something happened. It's like I don't know. And it's mostly just with her. Like I don't know if it's because like like we're in a relationship and we like care about each other a lot, but it's just
No, it's because you're obsessed with me.
I think I
I
don't
am
know
obsessed
whatever
with
you
you.
call that, like a photo type. I don't know, whatever
Photographic
the technical
memory.
term is for photograph. Why didn't I think of that? But yeah, I have a photographic memory too, where like I even sometimes take a mental picture about a moment because I'm like living in the moment of something or enjoying something so much that I'm like just like I think to myself, remember this, because like that's happens a lot in life, man. It's just like you might not remember little things, and I wish I could remember. Like I wish I could access like just I mean negative things, no, but like good things. Just access the files in my brain, like because it's all there in some way. I mean, I know that there's like the scientific thing where like some of your like you basically have like a hard drive, and like if it gets too full, some stuff will get basically pushed out. And so your brain can never really technically remember every little thing. Like obviously like it like some people can probably say and leave it in the comments if you do, but if you're one of those people that are like, I remember when I was born, like and all that,
Yeah.
like that's on a level that I will not be able to comprehend, like at least yet, because I don't know how. Like I can remember really 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 early ages of my life. Like I remember my birthday when I turned 6. I might remember my 5th, but I think it's confused with something else. But that's like as far back as it goes. Like my first 5 or 6 years of my life, like that, forget about it. Like I only have like VHS videos and things like that. But it's weird because like I'll watch these like VHS home videos my mom has like a long time ago. I need to revisit them because it's been years. But like I would watch them, and there was like a video of like me like doing this thing that I always did with my dad, where like I was a kid and I would sit like on his shoulders but on the couch. Like he wasn't standing up. It was just like I don't know, I like to just like watch stuff with him, but like basically on his head. And like I would see that in the VHS video, and then all of a sudden my brain is like remembering my perspective and like remembering mom filming me doing that, like, and looking at the VHS camera and like saying something stupid or like giggling or whatever. Like just stuff like that where like things have to open the window to access the memory, I guess, in a way.
right.
Maybe one day we'll have the technology to access like memories like a freaking simulation, like freaking Assassin's Creed and all that. But
I just want to say
Probably not
real
in our
quick,
lifetime. Probably not. Probably after me and Dustin are long dead.
if you guys hear my fiance moaning in the background, she bought a head massager at her job today for 10 cents. Okay. So she like literally has this like thing on her head and she's back to going, oh my God. So I am so sorry if it is misconstrued by anybody.
I know you guys can't see this because we don't have cameras for the podcast, at least yet. But I just rubbed my eyes really hard due to
And
just
now you're seeing stars.
well, no, I literally am going back to your fiance story. Like, what? Like, what? Like, Dustin just, like, stopped everything I was saying to be like, if you hear my fiance moaning, and there's an explanation? Like,
She's using a head massager.
I know, I'm just messing with you just due to the fact that, like, it was all of this big
So
thing,
funny.
and then, like, you're like, and then you took it down to, like, pebble-sized, like, I don't know.
I'm sorry if everybody wanted her to be moaning for a different reason, but not on the podcast.
Well, we don't even need to, like, what does TJ Miller says it in Deadpool perfectly, like, I don't want to see it or think about it ever again. Like, so I always use that all the time. I'm like, I don't want to think about it ever again.
Trista, do you have any stories about seeing anybody like have like something happen to somebody, like you witnessed something bad happen to somebody, whether they like passed out or anything like that?
No, my instances happened to me.
Okay, well that doesn't help.
Bum. I was like trying to fill in the silence.
She has.
At
no
first, I thought you
stories.
were asking me, and I was gonna troll you by being like, I just told you the story. It happened today. As a matter of fact.
This one kid that Trista works with, I used to be friends with. I've witnessed 2 of his seizures, and he had like grand mal seizures, like serious ones. And this is really fucked up. But both times it's happened, I laughed, not because he was having the seizure, but because of how he went into the seizure. And that sounds really wrong. I swear, this is so fucked up, but I laugh at it. So.
Hey, it probably is funny because he's probably okay today, so you can laugh at it.
He's completely okay. But
So let's laugh at it.
listen, I shit you not. This man like screamed because like every time he was gonna go into seizure, he would like scream, and it always happened in his sleep. And I swear, dude, like we were all hanging out at my buddy Willard's house, and all of a sudden we just hear aliens, and then this motherfucker just straight seizure. I swear to God, he yelled aliens at the top
He's
of
probably
his
like,
lungs.
I'm getting probed and abducted.
He's just like, aliens! And the one time, it was funny because he was actually like, my friend was like sitting next to him. And it was like Willard was sitting next to him and he like screamed. And Willard's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, got all pissed off. Like, why are you yelling in my ear? He thought like the kid was just messing around. And then he like realized that he was having a seizure. And every time he had a seizure, I had to be the one to hold his head. And I'm like, Willard, like, hold him still. Willard always had to pee. Like, he got so nervous he had to pee. But it's scary,
Wow.
man. Like, he was like biting through his tongue. He was like spitting blood all over me. But like, I couldn't. What can I do? Like, I'm trying to hold him from breaking his fucking neck.
Yeah.
It was some scary stuff. But like other than that, I mean, I've never really seen anything super crazy happen to anybody else. Like I would have watched that guy get shot in the face, but I wasn't sticking around for that one.
Right.
You see 2 dudes arguing in Newcastle, you go the other way.
Yeah, even though, ladies and gentlemen, and kids out there that have like a phone for the first time and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna film everything. Like, don't film a shooting, just freaking go. Like, as much as it would make some cool, content, like, and get those views.
It's great content.
But number one, even if I did witness someone and film them being shot and killed, it's like, I mean, I'm terrified because I'm probably next, and also like YouTube's not gonna be okay with it anyway. So. What's the point, guys? Just don't
That's
film
why
it.
you put it on Pornhub.
A shooting?
Yeah, why not? Dude, people upload gameplays to Pornhub. It gets more views than YouTube.
You would know, Dustin. You would know.
You've never seen that? You can literally go on Pornhub right now and watch COD montages. Swear to God.
I've never even. Wow.
It's a real
I never
thing.
even thought to look.
It's a real thing. Like look it up. I I'm telling you, it's a real
That'd
thing.
be so funny if they get revenue because they're like, well, and like the ad is like, it's like freaking browsers or whatever you call it, like just something
like
crazy.
here's the best part about it is they always title the video like something crazy. It's like destroying pussy, and it's literally like this dude hitting a fucking 360 no scope. Like, it's so funny. Like, they're not even lying. It's real.
Oh man, God. Well,
And
Dustin, do you want
if you
to...
really want some fun, go on there and type in cake farts and watch this girl get on a counter and butt naked squat on a perfectly good looking chocolate cake and fart on it. It will you'll never eat a chocolate cake again. I promise you.
Oh no.
I have fucked up
Flash
friends.
flood
That's why I
warning
know
in
about
this
these
area.
things.
Oh no, I'm getting an alert on my phone.
I don't know what happened to Trav. He was laughing and now he's gone.
Anyway,
Oh, there he is. He's back.
yeah, well, I said, like, I'm getting a flash flood warning, and I guess it technically muted the call while that was happening, and so
did.
there was probably an awkward silence there, guys, but I ain't
did.
cutting it out.
I kept talking.
Well, anyway, guys, recommendations. Dustin, you got one? I got one. Do you got one?
Recommendations. Play Jedi Fallen Order. It will make you mad and happy at the
You know,
same time.
it's so funny that you're recommending content because I literally was gonna do the same thing. Keep it simple today. If you guys haven't seen Joker, watch it because I got
It
the
just came out
Blu-ray.
January 7th, didn't it?
Yeah, I know. I bought the Blu-ray like that night. Like I went like and just
Travis,
freaking what?
put that shit in my fucking care package that I have not got yet.
Do you?
I'm just kidding.
You know, he still found a way, even though like I literally was moving on from that, and like just like
You're
it
never
literally
gonna
had
move on from
nothing to
it.
do with the care package. But
Now it does.
wow.
And I just want it to be known. I've been playing
This
Fallen Order
time,
this whole
don't
time.
freaking buy the movie because I just might. But
I won't buy it.
because like the freaking Hulk things was like, really, you've not had them for so long, and I get them, and then you have them. But anyway, like that just shows my little bit of like fake anger about it. But Joker is an amazing movie. I have reviewed it with my buddy Anthony on my the Trav Talks podcast on my other channel, which is basically transitioned into this podcast. Don't look forward to any podcasting on my channel, but also guys, subscribe to our main channels.
Yes.
That's also in the description. I've got everything kind of pasted down there where it's like kind of official, and sooner or later I will probably set up a like link tree. I don't know what it's called, but I saw one of my buddies was using it, and there was like one link, and then it has like selections of everything. So eventually I'll set it up that way. But for now, I've got like the Spotify link, I think the Anchor link, basically just giving you guys the idea. Like, there's a bunch of other platforms, and I may not put every link, but like if you go search on podcast platforms,
Including iTunes, which makes me
it
extremely
most
happy.
likely will be there. Just type in the Bearded Bros Show podcast. You might have to add podcast at the end. But anyway, guys, yeah, Joker, amazing movie, and I even second like Dustin's thing. Jedi Fallen Order is an amazing game, like from start to finish. Like if you're a Star Wars fan, you have not played this game, like, and it's canon. It is canon to the movies. It actually happens. It's in the timeline of Star Wars. It's a real thing that happens.
I have not.
I believe
stopped.
before A New Hope. It's before Episode 4. So it's pretty amazing. And I've enjoyed it so much. It's like freaking. It's basically Dark Souls, but Star Wars.
And it's a lot easier in Dark Souls. I was really nervous about that going into
Yeah,
it.
it's easier than Dark Souls, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
died a lot at the beginning because I didn't get my skills up yet. But yeah, Joker, guys, just to touch on that real quick, that is an amazing movie about mental health, and like it's negative. I heard that I saw it twice. I saw it when I first saw it with Ryan and all of them, and then I took my brother-in-law Rick because he really wanted to see it, and I was like, yeah, I'll see it again. It's amazing. I'd love to see it again. And we watched. And I showed him it basically, and then he doesn't even go to the movies twice. Like he'll never go to the movies twice. And he even took Ashley's sister Paige, like that's their boyfriend and girlfriend, but like he even took her to show her because he loved it so much. Like this movie is like, we watched it at home last night, and it's just like, it is sad, it is negative, but like it's a really good movie about mental health and everything. But have you even seen it yet, Dustin?
Nope.
Well,
I've been holding off.
you will enjoy it. But anyway, with that, guys, I got a burp. That was weak. Hashtag burp time. That's a reference to my channel. Speaking of that, click on my channel link. Click on Dustin's channel link. We love you. And I guess we're gonna wrap it up here. We'll unless Dustin has anything else to say before we wrap up the Bearded Bro Show podcast.
No, that's all.
Okay, well, like we'll talk to you guys later. See you next time.
Yeah, yep. See ya.